What's up, everybody? So after 3 weeks, probably a little closer to a month, I finally finished it. The Haunting of Hill House, the Netflix original 10-episode supernatural horror series created by Mike Flanagan that's loosely based on the 1959 novel of the same name written by Shirley Jackson that premiered on the network October 12th. Starring, well, too many people to try to mention here all at the same time, but some names you might recognize are Henry Thomas, Carla Gugino, Timothy Hutton, and Lulu Wilson, the young girl from Annabelle Creation and Ouija Origin of Evil, which brings me back to Mike Flanagan, who directed Ouija Origin of Evil, Oculus, and Hush, in which he's actually brought with him a lot of the actors he's worked with in the past to this series. Besides Wilson, we got Elizabeth Reeser, who plays Shirley, who was also in Ouija, and both Gugino and Thomas, who starred in Gerald's Game, and of course his wife, Kate Siegel, who's pretty much in everything he makes. Well, I almost nailed everyone right there, so I might as well keep on going with Michael Huisman, Oliver Cohen Jackson, and Victoria Pedretti. I'll get to all their younger counterparts here in just a little bit, but I want to get to this review because the reason there are so many people involved in this series is that The Haunting of Hill House covers a large period of time, from 1992 to the present, flashing from both the past to the future, utilizing two actors to play each character, young and old. The series begins in 1992 with the Crane family, Hugh and Olivia, a young couple who buy old houses and then fix them up and flip them for a profit, and their 5 children, Shirley, Theo, Stephen, and the twins Luke and Nell, as they are moving into Hill House. It's not long after, when they're forced by some unexpected repairs that lengthen the Crane's family stay at the house, some individuals of the house start to become affected by strange happenings. On one such night, the eldest son Stephen is woken by his father in a complete panic, who tells him to close his eyes, rushing him out of the house. The last thing Stephen sees before driving away is his mother in the window. We then flash forward to the present, where we find out Shirley is now the owner of a mortuary with her husband Kevin, Theo, who wears gloves throughout the entire series due to being sensitive to experiencing psychic events by touching others, now lives in Shirley's guest house. Luke is a rehabilitating addict. Luke's twin Nell, who's still having trouble coping, seems to not be able to get over the events of that night. And finally, there's Stephen, the only child who admits to having never seen anything out of the ordinary at the home, is a celebrated supernatural author who is resented by the eldest daughter, Shirley, and the rest of the family, but mostly by Shirley for selling out the family story and writing the novel he's now famous for, The Haunting of Hill House, a story he himself does not even believe. It's taken me over a month to finally get to this review, because The Haunting of Hill House is not one of those shows I myself personally want to binge watch. Instead, I limited myself here to about 2 to 3 episodes a week so I could savor what it is, in my opinion, one of the best original series Netflix has released since Stranger Things. And even though I did that, I'm still a little upset. It's over so fast. But let's talk about why I think this. First off, sure, like anything in the horror genre, some things here could be considered jump scares. But what makes this series so good is Flanagan here, unlike his past movies, is given an entire series to flesh out these characters of Hill House, which I'll warn you can be a slow burn at times. But what a sweet, slow burn it is, making and utilizing every minute of all 10 roughly hour-long episodes, taking its sweet time, building up and connecting suspenseful moments, forcing itself to go against the conventional jump scare standard, utilizing the stories of the past and the present, connecting them and leading up to hair-raising scares and moments that will have you thinking and pondering about for days afterwards. Hence why I didn't binge watch it. Some of the horrifying things you will encounter in The Haunting of Hill House will take days to settle into that little mushy thing between your ears. Like the episode when we find out exactly who's been haunting the youngest daughter, sweet little Nellie, and her connection to what she only refers to as the bent neck lady. Yeah, go ahead and let that absorb in just for a little bit. The scene will not just have me, but anyone who sees it thinking even far past from watching all 10 of these episodes. 1 year, 2 years from now, I can see myself talking to someone about my favorite TV shows and mentioning the bent neck lady, propping up this series as having some of the most effective, out of place but yet well-placed scares in the genre. You'll never see him coming, as it feels sometimes like the hauntings aren't just hauntings, but yet are attached to the emotions of the characters. As their anger rises, or their grief or their desperation comes to a breaking point, that is when Hill House responds in a big way. I do also need to mention here that this series deals with and revolves around some pretty dark stuff: addiction, grief, death, and even suicide. So be sure to be mentally aware of this before you dive in head first. This house, it's not always seeing residents and how they affect each character, young and old, giving each their own personal individual haunting that all comes back around in some way later in the series. And the Red Room, how it means something different to everyone, or how it relates to everyone in the house in a different fashion, was put together in a way I never saw it coming. There's also some great cinematography used for this suspenseful effect, which was really apparent. I think it was episode 5, the episode where everyone is at the funeral parlor and the camera is slowly spinning around the room as they all talk and fight about what's been happening. And be prepared to hide under the covers when you find out what's been lurking in the shadow of Luke his whole life. The acting here too was great, absolutely spectacular. The actors I mentioned before, Thomas, Gugino, Hutton, are superb, as well as Huisman, Reeser, Jackson Cohen, Siegel, and Pedretti were all outstanding, playing the children as adults, in conjunction with their younger counterparts who did an exceptional job: Lulu Wilson, McKenna Grace, Paxton Singleton, Julian Hillard, and Violet McGraw. I think I was able to finally give everyone the credit they deserve, because these are probably some of the better performances I've seen by young actors in a long time. Spot on throughout this entire series. I did worry at first all the time jumps were going to be a little jolting and confusing, but they were put together in such a way you never lose touch with any of these characters, their place in the story, or their current direction, except for at the start. I did have a little trouble identifying Stephen as the eldest son and not the youngest in some of the scenes in the present for some reason at the beginning, but I was able to soak it all in after just a couple episodes, and I'm still not quite understanding why Henry Thomas couldn't have played the dad in both scenarios, as it probably would have only taken a little hair color to age him sufficiently, and then he could have gotten rid of those crazy looking blue contacts. Now let's talk about the ending. No spoilers though, for you that have not seen the series. But I'm a little disappointed, not by the show, or not by the ending. I was very satisfied with that. It was a great ending. But it's that it seemed all kind of final, which now has me wondering if there's going to be a season 2 or not, which I really want. There are some Easter eggs that hint towards, yes, there will be. And the show, I'm pretty sure, was a mega hit for Netflix. So my guess is yes, next October we should get another 6 to 10 episodes. But it's as far as right now, after searching, it doesn't appear anything is in progress at this time. It doesn't look as if any of the cast members are committed or anything. Of course, on the other hand, Hill House has a history, which could lead to even further jumps into the past, with another whole new family and cast, or maybe just a whole new house altogether. But I still feel like there's more to this story, and it still needs to be told. So I'm really, really hoping they get on the ball and get these guys recommitted to another season. But whichever way it goes, the first season of Hill House was amazing and immediately has risen to one of my favorite series, not just on Netflix, but across the board. All in all, what could have been just a bunch of lazy jump scares, Mike Flanagan here puts together a perplexing story of a family's life turned inside out by tragedy, creating an eerie story as much grounded in reality as the supernatural, creating what feels like a whole new separate genre itself. I'll have to give The Haunting of Hill House an A+. So what'd you think of The Haunting of Hill House? Love it, hate it, couldn't watch it because you're a scared little sissy boy? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want to be part of the adventure, subscribe right here and join the quest.